all been for like a while. No, like last one. You see her when she came. How are you? Mommy.
Shalom Aleichem.
I don't see you on the Zoom.
No, because Harold and me, Tzvika just finished his shiur.
I'll
So
wait.
we are just
Okay, I'll wait.
Racing home so we can be
No problem.
5 minutes. Just wait 5 minutes.
No
for
problem.
Us. That's 5:40. How was your trip?
Beautiful, beautiful. El has gotten better with customer service, very good food. It was
Beach.
yeah, it was very nice. You know, it was in front of me, Zev Walmark and Matthew Seamus. He's having a bar mitzvah, so his family was there. Emmy Gottlieb, right? Emmy Gottlieb and his family, and my kids did okay. Yeah, so
Okay. So where are you now, Ranat?
I'm in Renana. Yeah, for Shabbos. Then we'll be Modin for Shavuos.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy Shabbos. Said, give my brother-in-law a big hug.
I
from
will.
me, okay.
I will.
Okay. I'll be. I'm just crossing the.
Nope, take your time.
Harold behind me.
Take your time.
So we're just gonna get.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, bye.
Okay, good.
Mommy, open the door. See a baby bird.
What?
So.
No, I woke up at 1 something or something, but
Next game, I watched the next game at 3 a.m.
They attacked a lot of Hezbollah last night too in Lebanon.
so I woke up sleep from like 1:30 to 6.
One thing just happened. They promised I was And then Mommy, what? Mommy, what? Or I'll listen when I turn it off.
You guys want to eat something?
That's a good picture you took of me and the mamad.
Don't send him.
Send them.
See the baby.
With movie, like.
How is this inside of here?
Oh, the time we're both saying it was freezing in that. You turned the air on blasting.
It was hot in there.
Oh.
It was cool. Mommy, I want sandwich.
Okay, I'll give you a comment.
Okay.
Oh, Ariella, you brought this, right? Thank you.
Donna, do you have a baby seat anywhere?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Amazing.
What?
The thing downstairs I have to put together.
Where?
I also have another bouncer actually. I have a baby Bjorn bouncer
Where?
upstairs. I'll get it.
You see it?
Yeah, I'll go get it.
She's doing that every day.
That thing that it was like, what is that?
It doesn't bounce, you just sit in it. Yes.
I downstairs.
What else?
And mommy, where's the baby? Can you open the door and see the baby's bird?
No. What are you talking about? Where?
The baby bird
Where?
outside.
we're not going to school today.
I wanna go to, you wanna go to God, right? Gotta go to God.
I don't want to go in the room. Like,
You're gonna walk in the God.
yeah.
She's gonna
I
walk
don't know what time this gone in.
in. Well.
On Friday.
Don't
Why
worry.
are you so late?
Angela's not gonna go to school.
Right, he'll play with Kobe. I wanna take Kira in bed, we'll go in the stroller.
Walk.
Walk.
Wait, when's the dog's birthday?
Today's his senior birthday, and his birthday party is this afternoon.
Yeah, no, what time?
He is going to school. Look. At 1.
Mommy, why can't you also go there?
Cause then why not let? What kind of cereal do you like? Do you like this? Yeah?
Try one, Kira, try one.
Do you like this? Oh,
Oh, that's wait, I can see that.
oh, do you like this?
Ben does like.
Oh, that's.
Do?
Yeah, Ben likes all this.
I didn't know this here, though.
I'm literally obsessed with him. He was really cute.
She has some famous here, and I'm getting it.
Didn't we not talk? For a long time?
I don't want.
Year.
I want to sit here. Mommy, I want.
I'm teaching right now. They're going to be signing in about 5 minutes. So
You need earphones, I think.
Siren?
Do you have earphones?
I do.
Why don't you plug it in there so they don't hear you? Like,
Why is it going to be a
plug it
siren?
in here. And then they just hear you
How
and
about
you.
just I'll be done in 10 minutes.
Shh.
Maybe they get you outside.
Yeah, maybe they could eat
Oh,
outside.
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mommy, are they going to do a siren?
No.
Latano, do you like the sirens? Or you don't like the
Who's
sirens?
Ben
They
hang
have-
out with? And here are his friends. Ben, who are your friends?
I opened there.
That's for their alley and babe.
Who's that?
A bowling alley. Mommy.
A girl? Who?
I'm on this siren.
What?
Baby, my friend's name. First daughter, Allie, and then Rachel's son.
Holly's my best.
What's his name?
Holly's son is my
Yeah,
best.
what's his name? David?
The refund.
Oh, yeah, me too. I wanna do it.
Yeah,
David in your class?
yeah.
David and Ali?
And I'll go two friends.
Is Allie's in
Who's
Alice?
the baby Bajorn?
Yeah.
Alessandra.
Oh, no.
Wait, is someone here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Harold.
Yeah, Walter should be here in a minute.
Yeah. I was in a bomb shelter last night.
No way, what happened?
No, there's this, sirens go off.
Really?
Millions of people in the Mahmad.
Wow. From where, what, who's
Yemen.
again?
Yemen. Yeah. So I have this,
remember
this
Houthi-
up on the phone that goes off.
Ah, I remember Houthi when he was with the blowfish. What happened to him? Was it a different Houthi?
Yeah, Kieran liked that.
Yeah. You know what I saw in the news today, like all the actors, celebrities in London, they're so anti-Israel now. They're being fed by the BBC all this BS. It's terrible. It's like we're losing the PR game, unfortunately. Well, we always have, but
Remember, it's 600 days. 600
Yeah.
days has gone by. It hasn't been a quick thing.
there's
That's
something supposed to
it's
happen.
hurting
Are they
us.
Are they
It's
releasing
hurting us.
hostages?
600 days since October 7th.
I know, but are they releasing? I saw something in the news that they worked out an agreement, 60-day ceasefire.
Did you hear anything about a ceasefire? I haven't heard yet.
I don't know. It's terrible.
But El Al has picked up its game. They have more customer service. It's just a nicer airline since that new family bought them.
Any other airlines?
Well,
Is United flying?
No, I heard Delta has started flying to
Oh.
Israel. I think you can go. I think Emirates is flying too.
Mommy,
Okay, guys, could they eat outside?
Go dog. You want some cookies to go with your milk? You just killed me.
Hi,
Oh,
Walter.
you look very
Okay.
casual. You look very casual.
It's very warm here. Okay, I'm gonna try to do two blot. And does 8 o'clock in the morning work for you guys?
After 2 block tonight, will have to work. What can I do?
I can do a couple minutes tomorrow, not the whole
Okay.
time.
It's a small blot. Okay, we're on Chaf Zayin Amud Aleph, Mishnah. Nishba levatel is a mitzvah. Person takes an oath, I'm not gonna perform mitzvahs tefillin. And then v'lo bitel, but he put on tefillin, so he didn't comply with his oath. Potter, he doesn't have to bring a korban. Similarly, if he made a shvuah l'kayim, I take a shvuah that I'm going to put on tefillin, and then he doesn't put on tefillin, v'lo kayim, also potter. Why is this? Shahaya b'din sheyeh chayev. I would have thought through logic, through kavachomer, you'd be chayev a korban. Kedivi Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. What did Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira say? Dam Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. Maimal arishus. If you take a shvuah, for something that is not a mitzvah, something that you is a reshus for you to do, like eat a piece of bread, right? Sheina mushba olav mar Sinai. There is no shvuah that we took at Har Sinai to eat a piece of bread. And yet if you take a shvuah on that, for example, not to eat a piece of bread, and then you violate that, you're going to be chayiv a korban. Mitzvah shu mushba olav mar Sinai. You take a shvuah against the mitzvah where maybe eino din sheyeh chayiv aleh. So amru lo imamet b'shvus harishus shekein asa b'lav kehain. When you take an oath on a voluntary item like eating a piece of bread, I can take it positively and negatively. I can say I'm going to eat a piece of bread, or I'm not going to eat a piece of bread. I have both choices, lav and hain. So that's why a shvuah works. Toimer b'shvuah mitzvah, shlos b'lav kain. I can't, for example, I can take a shvuah that I'm going to put on tefillin, but I can't take a shvuah not to put on tefillin. Because I'm mushba marsina to do so. It's shlos about lav kain. She'im nishba levatel, if I take an oath to be mevatel that mitzvah, v'lo bitel, Harei Potter, because I can't be mevatel. So since it doesn't work in both directions, there's no chalos neshvua. That's what this Mishnah seems to say. Ton Rabban. I might think if you take an oath to be mevatel a mitzvah and you didn't do it, you're chayiv a korban talbadomer lahara o lehetiv. The pasuk says to do bad or to do good. Mahatova rishus, that is doing good or positive, right, is a dvar rishus, that I'm not taking an oath on something that there's a mitzvah to do. It's eating a piece of bread, watering the lawn mowing, right? Afhara rishus. If I take a shvuah not to mow the lawn or water the lawn, I can do so. But otzi shenish b'levatas mitzvah v'lo bitel shu potter. But I cannot take a mitzvah not to put on tefillin, because I've been vatal mitzvah and I can't do that. You're not rishai to do that. So it doesn't work, lav kehem. So the Gemara asks, 1 second. Yachol nishbal harala atzmo v'lo hera. I might think that if you take a shvua for something you personally, like you're not going to eat a piece of bread, or let's say you're not going to eat a piece of bread, and I didn't go through with that. Yachol yeh potter tamar lomar laharal leitiv ma tava rishus. Eating a piece of bread is something that is voluntary, and I could do it afara rishus. So maybe avi nishbal harala atzmo v'lo hera. So I might think that if I take an oath not to eat a piece of bread, and I ate a piece of bread, so I didn't damage myself. But what about if I say I'm going to give Chaim Yankel a clap in the head, and I didn't do it? I can only do something rishus wise for myself. I can't clap somebody on the head. Ma'atava rishus, afara rishus. So otzi nishbal haralacher v'lo heira she'en rishus biyado. I do not bring a korban for a shvua where I wanted to damage my friend and I didn't do it because I don't have a rishus to damage my friend. Minayin the rabbos hatavos acherim. But let's say I'm going to give my friend $1,000. I take an oath and I don't give it to him. I'm chayv a korban. Talmud loymar o leheti. The o, the extra word o, is a drasha that if I do good for somebody else, that shvua will have a chalais. Now, ezohi hara'as acherim. This is a long brisa. The brisa gives an example. What's an example of somebody doing bad to a person? For example, I say, "Akeh es ploni ve'eftas machak." Hit him in the head, and his brains are going to come out. So that's ra. Since I'm not allowed to do that, taking a shvua to do it, I'm not chayav for it. Umimai dekroibet davar harishus ksivi. So then, the lahara or laheitiv comes out is on a dvar rishus, something that I'm allowed to do. For example, for myself, right? Dilma b'dvar mitzvah ksivi. Maybe the lahara or laheitiv deals with the union of a mitzvah. The Gemara says lo salkadaita. That doesn't make sense. We need positive similar to the negative. The akish hara because there's a hekesh between doing good and doing bad. And therefore, mahatava ain't a bevitel mitzvah. The positive thing, eating a loaf of bread. I'm not being mevatel a mitzvah. And even, let's say, I'm not allowed to eat chametz, but I eat it. So I'm mevatel the mitzvah. And it's positive for my body because I'm eating. But I'm doing an evil act because it's violating an isser. Afhara ain't a mevatel mitzvah. For example, not eating a piece of bread is not being mevatel a mitzvah. For example, if I said I'm not going to eat chametz on Pesach, but that's a ra'a, that's kufa tovahi. It's something that damages me by not eating, but I'm doing a mitzvah because I'm staying away from chametz. And we go the other way. Akishat tavalara. Ma'ara, I take something that normally is bad for me not to eat, but eno b'kiyum mitzvah. It's not by fulfilling a mitzvah, it's not saying mevatel. For example, I take an oath not to eat matzah the night of Pesach. Well, it's a mitzvah to eat the matzah the night of Pesach. So even though the hara'ah, not eating, is bad for me, but it's bad for me in the sense that I'm not going to be the mitzvah of matzah. Afatava eno b'kiyum mitzvah. So the doing good is not being Makaya mitzvah, rather than I'm being mevatel it. For example, what if I say I'm going to eat a loaf of bread on Yom Kippur? So eating a loaf of bread nourishes me. So that's normally the hatov of the person, but it violates the love of Yom Kippur. So hatov gufa rohi. So that's why the pasuk cannot be dealing with a mitzvah. It's got to be dealing with a dvar rishus. That ends the Gemara's proof. So ihachi, the dvar rishus nami lo mishkachos lo. So I will prove to you perhaps that taking a shul on a dvar rishus also won't work, because the haro has to be doing hatov and vice versa. That means just like hatava has to be something that benefits me, staying away from something has to be something that benefits me. Like, let's say I take an oath, I'm not going to eat poison. Fine, that's a hara'ah, which benefits me. But not eating it that is good, let's say I'm going on a diet, I want to lose weight, which is good for me, maybe that wouldn't be in the parsha. Ella, we have to prove a different way. Midi'itztrich o, so we said lahara, and then the word o lehetiv, or. To do bad or to do good, the or, is l'rabu satavas achirim. We said that comes to say that if I am going to give my friend $1,000, I take an oath, I'm going to give my friend $1,000, and I don't do it, I'm over the shua. For example, I can't take an oath and I'm going to clap my friend on the head. That I'm not allowed to do that, but I'm allowed to benefit. We learn that from O. Shma mina, b'davar rishus ksivi. So it must be that this whole parsha of lahara ol heitiv is dealing not with mitzvah, but dealing with things that are rishus. Because every time about the whole parsha is talking about mitzvahs, hashta hara acherim yisrabi. It means if I've included this for acherim, hatavas acherim boy, would there be any shaila regarding benefiting my friend? So hi is maboy l'lachalik. So the hara ola heitiv is coming to teach me something else. Because if it would have said lahara ula heitiv without the o, I might have thought that you would not be over to bring a korban on a shvur unless I took a shvur to do two things, ra and good. So the o separates either or. If I do one of them. And for the Gemara, no, l'chalik lo tzorich kra. I don't need to separate the two with o. Because even without the word o, I would have known that I'm chayiv for each one by themselves. How would I have known that? Hanich Rav Yoinason el Rav Yoshia Michael Memar. So we're going to see when the Torah mentions two things, do you have to do both things, or one is enough? So there's a machlokas Rav Yoinason and Rav Yoshia, the Tanya. Ki ish asher yikalel es aviv ve'es imo mosyumas. The person who curses his father and his mother, right? Es aviv ve'es imo. So ein li ela aviv imo yachad. So I might think that we're only over the lav of makalel if I curse both my father and my mother. Aviv v'lo imo, imo v'lo aviv, each one independently minayin. Hamadoimar, there's another pasuk that says aviv v'imo kilel domav bo. So there's a pasuk that seems to connect klala to the father and to the mother separately. Sha'aviv kilel, imo kilel, div Rabbi Yoshia. Now, but there, because there's a separate pasuk, but without the separate pasuk, Rabbi Yoinason Oimer, mashma shtem ke'echad, u'mashma echad b'fnei atzma. When the Torah gives us two things, it's whether you do both of them or whether you do either one of them. Ad sheyiprot l'cha kasuv yachtav. You know, it says lo sachrosh b'shor u'v'chamor yachtav. You may not plow with an ox and a donkey together. So it's not, there's no prohibition of plowing with an ox alone or with a donkey alone. You only get the the chiyuv if you plow with both of them together, because the Torah says yachtav. When the Torah doesn't say yachtav, then I know that I'm chayiv from each an independent thing. So therefore, the Gemara says, no, I don't need O to separate. So the Gemara says, no, I feel temek Rav Yoshia. I could learn our Gemara, even according to Rav Yoshia, that needs the O l'chalei. Because several of Rav Akiva, the Dorish, ribui umiut. We had a few days ago, machlokes with Rav Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel, do you darshan with ribui umiut, or do we darshan with klalu prat? So Rabbi Akiva darshan is ribui umiut. The Yasrele O. Therefore, the O is left extra, according to him, l'chalik, to say that it's either or. It's both lahara or lehetiv. You don't need both. So, amit bishmad b'davar rishus ksiv. Now, we've been debating this issue. Is this parsha talking about mitzvahs, or is it talking about non-mitzvahs? So the Gemara says it only makes sense if I'm talking about a non-mitzvah, because then mema'ed dvar mitzvah. I'm excluding taking a shvuah on a dvar mitzvah. Eli iyamid dvar mitzvah ksiv might come in mind. There's no structure to the miyut at all. It only makes sense if we're talking about regular divrei rishus, and we're mema'ed dvar mitzvah. I'm Rabbi Yehuda ben Seir. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Seir in the Mishnah made a kavol chomer. Ma ima rishus, if you can take a shvuah on a rishus, you certainly can take a shvuah on a mitzvah. And we answer the Chachamim say, by rishus, I can take a shvuah on both sides, positive and negative. But by mitzvah, I can't take a mitzvah to mevatel I can't take a shvuah to mevatel the mitzvah. And l'chora, Rabbanan Shapir Kamerle, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. It looks like the Rabbanan made a good argument. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. What does Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira say in response to the Rabbanan? So Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira Amalcha Atu Atovas Acherim. Now, if I make a shvuah to give my friend $1,000, Lafal Gab the lesser b'chol haras acher, that shvuah works, even though I can't go opposite. I can't take a shvuah that I'm going to clap my friend on the head. Yet Rabbi Rachmana, yet the Torah said I'm allowed to take a shvuah. So I don't need to go both ways. The same thing says Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, taking an oath to put on tefillin should work, even though I don't have the other side. I can't take an oath that I'm not going to put on tefillin. Yet Rabbi Rachmana, the Torah, just like it did it by divrei rishus, it did it by mitzvahs as well. How did the Rabbanan respond to that? That seems like a good argument. The Rabbanan Hasam is saying, there at least, you by taking a shavua to clap my friend on the head, at least that shavua, there could be a chalos in the shavua. Below 18, but here there's no chalos of the Kayim. There's no chalos of the shavua by saying I'm taking the shvuah not to put on tefillin, we are mushba v'oim in Mar Sinai to put on tefillin. So there the shvuah doesn't even start at the beginning. The other shvuahs can start. Mishnah. Shvuah shlo oichel kikar zu. Person says I take an oath not to eat this loaf of bread. And then he says shvuah shlo achlena. I take an oath not to eat it. Shvuah shlo achlena. V'achla. In a chayv la'achas. You might think you'd chayv 3, but you only chayv 1, because the first shvuah took hold, shvuah shlo oichel kikar zu, and there's the second shvuah, we say ein shvuah chalal shvuah, so there is no second shvuah to be chayv 2 korbanos. And zui shvuah's bitui, this is an example of what we call shvuah's bitui, shechayoven as donam makos, that if you took a shvuah b'mezid, you get malchus. Korban all over yard. And if I did it b'shogeg, I have to bring a sliding scale korban. Shvuah shav, which we learned is like taking a shvuah that I'm going to put this elephant through the eye of a needle, which is impossible. So chayav donam makos v'shegasa potter. But there is no korban on a shvuah shav. Now, lamali lemisne shvuah shlo oichel. What does that come to teach me? Hakamashwan, time the Omar Shloi Oichal, it only works that way. When I say I'm not going to eat this loaf, because when you say Shvush Shloi Oichal Kikar Zu, it implies even a kazayas from that loaf. And then Hodev Omar Shloi Ochlen Na, I'm not going to eat the whole loaf. And why is that? Because, but Avalim Omar Shloi Ochlen Na, if I take another, I'm not going to eat it. The Hodev Omar Shloi Ochel Mischayv Tarti. Why? Kerova, Domarova. Shvush Shloi Ochel Kikar Zu. Guys. Okay. Domarova. Shvush Shloi Ochel Kikar Zu. If I take an oath not to eat this loaf, now it doesn't prohibit me the moment I eat a kazayas of that loaf, kivin shachal minu kazayas chayiv. Each kazayas of that kikar, I made it usher to me, just like eating a kazayas of nevela or eating kazayas of chaylev. But if I said shelo ochlen na, I'm going to eat it, and if I have shechal is kula, so you're not chayiv until I eat the whole loaf. So I've expanded the concept of the oath. I went from prohibiting myself just eating kazayas to eating the whole loaf. That's why that works to make me chayiv 2, but the other way would only chayiv 1. Then the Mishnah said, Shvush lo ochlana, I'm not going to eat it, v'achla. I said, Shvush lo ochel kikar zu. And then Shvush lo ochlana, Shvush lo ochlana v'achla and chayiv la'achas. Hasulamali. I mean, that's going to teach me the same thing. HaKamash Malan, the Yuva Hu Deleka, there's no chiyuv korban. Hashvua Ikka. Listen to this. The oath, though there is, it's not mizbatel legamri. What's the nafkamina? The mishkachas rav chayla. So, because if there's some stuff that's left, like if I said, I'm not going to eat from this loaf, which is only a kazayas, and then later on I say I'm not going to eat the whole loaf, so there's more material to have the oath have a chalois. L'may hilchos. So l'rava damer rava she'im nishal ala rishoina. Let's say you went to a chacham and you had the chacham undo the first oath. Also lo shmiya takter. If the second oath was not had not been, and we didn't ask from a chacham to undo it, it would play a role. Later Messiah lane. Let us say that the following brisa supports this. Misha nadar shtei naziris. Now, a normal naziris is 30 days. If a person says Hareini Nazir, Umana Rishoina, and you counted 30 days of the first naziris. And at the end of naziris, you have to bring korbanos. The hifrish alei korban, and you were mafresh your korbanos. Then you went to a Talmid Chacham, and he mattered you the first neder. Also lo ashniya b'rishoina. So you already makayim naziris of 30 days. You wiped away the first one. So the second one was miskayim in the first one. You don't have to keep another 30 days of naziris. So you see, there was some chalois of the naziris, even though there was a first naziris. And therefore, the Gemara says, it works the same way by a shrua. There's no comparison. How's naziris mia issa? There, the naziris takes hold. The chimani es rishona boy mohadim mimna. Et hashniya. You had a requirement to count the first naziris, and you had a requirement to count the second naziris. Both had a chalois. But even without she'ela, hacha, when you take two shvuas one after another, there's a concept of ein shvua chalal shvua. So the second Shavuot doesn't have a chalos in the first place, right? Shavuot Shnia Miyas a cloud. It's as if it doesn't exist at all. So you can't learn from Nedorim to Shavuos, because L'chora, the second neder can have a chalos. Amarava. Nishbal kikar v'achlo. Person took an oath not to eat a loaf of bread, and he ate it. Im shayim meno kazayas. If there's a kazayas left of that loaf, nishal aleha, he can undo the remaining oath. But im achla kula, a nishal aleha. If he ate the whole loaf, cannot go to a chacham to have him undo the neder, under the shvuah. Amar Rav ber Rav Ashi, echidami. Ida amar shlo oichel kikar zu. So once mikazayis kama, abde lisura. Once he had the first kazayis, already did the yisur. So what does it help him to undo the shvuah with a chacham? Ida amar shlo ochlena. If he started off by saying, "I'm thinking that not to eat the whole loaf," my area kazayis. I feel a kol shunami. The moment I eat any of it, I can ask to be matir the shvuah. I'm going to sign out and sign in so we tape the second one as well. So just stay there. I'm going to sign out and then sign back in.
Harold. He has boundless energy, this bloke.
I would be in bed if I were him.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be puffing away.
just flew in 7 o'clock in the morning. He's up and learning like it's like middle of the day.
I'd say, where am I?
I don't know what
Yeah.
battery he's on, but it must be a pretty good.
Yeah, I want that dope. Whatever it is. Ernie.
Fine. Okay, back to Kaf Ches Amud Aleph. So the Gemara gives another answers. Iboy say ma shloi oichel. I can answer it in the case when he takes the oath not to eat. Iboy say ma shloi ochlana, not to eat it, which meant the whole loaf. Iboy say ma shloi oichel, which is just even a kazayas. So migu de mahanyale she'ela ala kazayas basra. Since there's let's say it's 20 kazesim, I only ate one. There's still more of the shvuah for the rest, and therefore the she'ela to the chacham works for that part of the oath. Therefore, ma'anyale she'ela nami ala kazayis kama. Therefore, it works to undo the first, retroactively undoes even the first kazayis. L'mafreya, sort of backwards. The Boisema can answer it when he takes the oath shelo ochlana, which implies the whole kikar. Because Ishayr kazayis, if he left over at least a kazayis of that loaf, chashiv l'tshulele, there's still chashivas where he can go to a chacham to get it undone. But v'ilo, if he didn't leave a kazayis, lo chashiv l'tshulele, it's not enough chashivas, there's nothing left to go to ask the chacham to undo. Meisvei. Mishnah understand Naziris. Person said Harini Nazir. 2 consecutive 30-day Nazirises. Umana Rishona, and he counted 30 days. V'hifresh alei korban, and he was mafresh korbanos for the first Naziris. V'achkach nishal al Rishona, and then he goes to a chacham to undo the first neder that he did. Also, lo shnia b'rishona, he doesn't have to do the Naziris the next one because it's all gone. So, because you know why that works, and it undoes the original neder. There's a reason, because he didn't bring the korbanos. So there was something left in that first neder for the chacham to get rid of. Frankly, more of a hatanya kiper. We have a brisa that says that case works even though he brought the korbanos. And for the Gemara b'shelo gilech, after the Nazir brings korbanos, he has to take a haircut. So he didn't take the haircut yet. And it's the sheet of Rabbi Eliezer, the Omar, tiglachas ma'akva. that that if you didn't finish your haircut, the Naziris is not finished. I Tanya Gilech. There is another price that says this case was stuck, but he took the haircut. On Ravashi, Naziris Karamis. You asked me a question about undoing a Naziris? Now you said already Nazir. What is the thing that prevented you from doing the second Naziris? It was the Rishonah. You had to finish first 30 days. But the Eina, but it's not around anymore. And that's different than a Shvuah, because once he ate the loaf after the Shvuah, the second Shvuah doesn't exist at all. Amemar Amar, different teretz. Person takes note not to eat a loaf. Afilu achla kula nishal. He says even if you ate the whole loaf, you could still undo the neder. Because for example, if you're taking a shvuah because he didn't know that you're not allowed to take a shvuah, it's a shoygeg. So mechusar korban, there's still, he hasn't brought the korbanos, so there's something left for the chacham to undo. Ibemezid mechusar malchus. You get malchus, but you haven't gotten the malchus. Aval kaftu ala omud. Let's say they bound him to this place where you give him malchus. Then binding is like as if, and you wouldn't be able to go to the chacham to ask it. Blow. Kishmuel, Damar Shmuel. Kaftu ala omud. Let's say somebody was chayiv to get malchus, and they bound him to get the malchus. Viratz, and he ran away. He based in potur. You don't have to give him malchus anymore. It's like the lohi. Now the Gemara says it's not comparable because also rats, in the case of malchus, he ran away. Rats. And if he didn't run away, you would get the malchus. Amarava. Shvuah oichel kikar zu im oichel zu. It's like a t'nai. He says, I take an oath to eat this loaf if I eat the other loaf. V'ochelas harishona b'shogeg. And he eats the first loaf, and he didn't know that there was he forgot that there was a shvuah. But vesashniya, now the second loaf only came into being because he had eaten the first loaf. And he eats the second loaf b'mezi. Now, if you do something b'mezi, there's no korban. Potter. At the time that he ate, that second oath had a chalois, which is when he ate the first loaf, he didn't know about it because he said it was a shogeg. And if he doesn't know about it, his heart is not with the shvuah. The shvuah is not chal. So the second shvuah has no, the tonight sort of goes away because he didn't know he was taking a shvuah. On the other hand, if he ate the rishona b'mezi, so he knows he's eating it b'isser, v'sashniya b'shogeg, then you're chayiv a korban. Because when he ate the second loaf, the first shvuah had taken hold because he knew what he was doing. Now, if he ate both of those loaves, stay in b'shogeg potter. Because remember, if the first one is b'shogeg, he doesn't know what he's doing, so the second shvuah doesn't have a chaloy. Stay in b'mezi. Kira, could you go downstairs to the basement and play down there? Could you go outside? Shtem b'mezid. If he ate both of the loaves b'mezid, achol l'tnai. So the eating the first loaf, he knew what he was doing. The other achol yisura, he's mechayiv, he's chayiv for both of them. Achol isura. He ate the prohibited loaf, the other achol l'tnai, and then he ate the original loaf that he took the t'nai on. That's already a plukted Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish. It has to do with what kind of hasra, whether hasra safek shma hasra. So Reish Lakish holds that even a safek tika hasra is hasra. You're chayiv malchus, but ulmanda omar according to Rav Yochanan that a safek hasra is lav shma hasra. Potter. V'tolen zu bezu. He connected the loy oichel zu im oichel zu. I'm not going to eat the second loaf if I eat the first loaf. Or loy oichel zu im oichel zu. Or I won't eat the second loaf if I eat the first loaf. V'ochel zu bezoden atzmo v'shigos chaverta. And I ate one with its mazid and the shogeg for the other one. That means at the time he ate it, he knows he took a shvua that he's not going to eat it, but he forgot that he prohibited the other one b'shvua. The zod natzma of shigos chavera, in both of those cases, potter. What? Zu b'shigos natzma zod chaverta, when he didn't forget, when he didn't remember that there was an isser if he ate it, but if he remembered that he ate it, or b'shigas atzmo v'zon chaverta, there was mazid on the other one, but shoyg in the first one chayiv, because we said if he's b'mazid, he knows he took the shvuah at the time he ate the t'nai dika loaf that created the shvuah on the other one. But shtein b'shoygig potter, because the t'nai was a shogeg, so he doesn't know that he took a shvuah. But shtein b'mezid, so on the shniya mechayev, because when he eats the first loaf, he knows what he's doing. So therefore, when he eats the second, he's chayev, malchus. But al rishona, we said, is the plukted Rav Yochanan Shlokish, because it's asra sofik. Omer of Mary, afananami tanina, I learned the same thing. Arba nedorim itir chachomim. There are 4 types of nedorim that the chachamim say are not nedorim. Nidre zruzin. For example, I'm in business. And he says, I take an oath, I take a neder that I'm not going to sell it unless it's this price. So really we know it's just a bartering technique. He really didn't have kavana. So that neder doesn't take hold. Neder havoy. He says, I take a neder that I'm going to put this elephant through the eye of a needle. Everyone knows it doesn't make sense. And then the other 2 are what are called nidre shgogois, nidre oinsin. For example, a neder oines is a neder that somebody forced you to take. The question is, what are nidre shgogois ketzah? Koinem imachalti v'imshasisi. I say, I'm not going to walk into my house if I eat this loaf of bread. V'nizka she'achal v'shasa. He remembers that he ate and drank, or vice versa. He says, she'eni oichel she'eni shoyse. If I eat or drink, and then he ate, b'shachach, but he forgot the oath, v'achal v'shasa, mutter. Then you're allowed to do at the time of the t'nai. Because the neder was a shogeg. The Tani Allah, kishem shenidre shkogos mutar. Just like this form of neder doesn't take hold, kach shvur shkogos mutaros. And shvur shkogos hechidami, lav ki hai gavna. It's the way we just designed these 2 oaths. Like I take an oath that I'm not going to eat the second loaf if I eat the first loaf. Shmami not that just like it works by nedorim, it works by shvuos. Eifa Tani. Shvuos Beiderava. Eifa was learning Masechta Shvuos in Yeshiva of Rabbah. Pagabe Avimi Achve. His brother Avimi met up with him. Omer lei, Shvuos shelo yachalti. Shvuos shelo yachalti mau. Omer lei, ena chayv alachas. You only chayv 1 because ein shvuah chalal shvuah. Omer lei, ishtabash, you're confused. Harei yotza shvuah l'sheker. The second shvuah is already a shvuah sheker, so you're chayiv 2. Then he says shvuah shlo oichel teisha ve'eser. I take an oath that I'm not going to eat 9 figs, and then he took a second one. I'm not going to eat 10. So mahu chayiv kolachas v'yachas. You're chayiv for each one, because the second shvuah of 10 was a broader isser than the first one, which was only 9. It was a moisif. Again, you're confused. Esr lo achal. If he doesn't eat 9, he can't eat 10. He can't eat 10 unless he ate 9. So there's no shvuah, chalal shvuah. So you really only chayv 1. Then he asks another question. Shvuah shlo ochel eser v'tesha. First he said, I'm not going to eat 10. Then he said, I'm not going to eat 9. So he answered, Ein chayv la'achas. So again, Amar le'ishtabasht. Efa said, you're confused. Eser hu shlo ochel. Hatesha mi ochel? Yeah. He said, I'm not going to eat 10, but he ate 9. So there's a shvuah chal on the 9. And if he eats the next one, you're chayiv 10, you're chayiv 2. Or Rabbi Zinin the Nishkachos Lelaha, the Eifa. Sometimes I will show you when he says, I'm not going to eat 10, then he ate 9, you're only going to be chayiv 1. How? Kemar. The Amar Rabbah. Shvuah shlo oichel teinim v'anovim. Person says, I'm not going to eat figs and grapes. The chaz of Amar shvuah shlo oichel teinim. V'ochel teinim. So this will continue later on today. So tonight, now it's Thursday night. So 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll learn the next block.
I'll try. I'm not sure, but I'll try.
Enjoy.
Okay, have a good day.
Have a good day.